Hello everyone, I'm Ivo from Vanessa and Ivo, and the purpose of this video is to show you our new set of LUTs with some tips on how I'd use them. About a year ago we launched our first set of LUTs. We call them SB LUTs. SB stands for Something Blue, which was our first brand, and it's also the name of our workshop. SB LUTs was very successful. We had hundreds of sales for videographers from all over the world. The feedback that we received was incredible. So now, 1 year later, we launch our new set. We call them the Compass LUTs. It consists of 6 color LUTs and 1 in black and white. First of all, I should talk about the way we set up our cameras. We shoot with Sony's, currently the A7 III, and we shoot with the picture profiles disabled. This allows us to access the creative styles in the menus. We use the neutral creative style. If you use any other camera, either if it's Canon or Panasonic, you should get similar results to us if you shoot in neutral. We prefer to shoot in neutral because it helps us to expose our shots during the day. And since the colors are not very muted, it also allows us to preview how the shots will end up once we grade them. Also, even if you shoot in neutral, the Sony files retain a little bit of the highlight information if you overexpose your shots. We use Adobe Premiere to edit, not because of a PC versus Mac thing, but because it's the system that I've used for almost 20 years. So it's not a case of which one is better, it's just which one works for me. For Premiere, you have to go to your Creative LUTs folder in your installation folder and paste the LUTs file there. The next time you load Premiere, you'll find them in the Lumetri panel under the Creative tab. Even if you edit with Final Cut, you can use our LUTs. We have plenty of users that edit with Final Cut, and you just have to research on how to load them in your software. So this is the promo we created to showcase the Compass LUTs, and I'm sure you've seen it already. In this sequence I have the same promo, but without the LUTs applied, so now I'm going over some of the shots and explain how I usually use them. Normally when I'm editing a movie, I would just create an adjustment layer over the entire edit, because I don't usually mix different LUTs in the same movie. The only exception is when I create some shots that are in black and white. Other than that, I just apply an adjustment layer to the entire edit, and then I just adjust each individual clip for exposure and white balance and tint, and sometimes I apply some curves to recover some blown highlights if I need to. So this is the same edit, okay? I'm just going to play. This is entirely ungraded. Straight from the camera. Okay, so now I'm just going to choose some shots like this table. Now I go to the Creative tab and I have the Look drop down, and I have all my LUTs. You can see the SB LUTs and the Compass LUTs, and I can choose the Compass 01. Okay, you can see Compass 01 is very contrasty, it's very saturated, it's warm, and I really like that. If you see our movies, you'll see that we like warm images. So I don't really need to do anything about this image. So let's see the next. Okay, let's see how Compass 1 works. In this shot, I would just usually adjust the exposure down a little bit, the contrast, and a little bit more warm, and I do the same with the next one. Okay, let's see, for instance, Compass 02. Okay, Compass 02, it's very similar to Compass 01, but it's a bit more faded. let's see if, for instance, the black and white. I'll have to adjust a bit the exposure. Let's see the black and white again. Okay, just the exposure a little bit. And here let's try a different one, Compasso 3. You can see it's warm as well. We really like warm tones. Let's try Compasso 3 again. Let me adjust a little bit the exposure. We still have warmth, and we have the greens are muted. It's a bit more faded. It's not as contrasted as the Compasso 1. And it has some brown tones that I really like. Let's just copy paste. Let's see. Let's try the Compasso 5. And here let's try Compasso 4. Compass 06, yeah, I like this one. You can see it's a bit more green. If you don't like it, you can adjust the tint slider, but I like the way it is. This is another drone shot with the DJI Mavic in D-Log. So let's try Compasso 1, but we have to be a bit more warm. This is an indoor shot. They can be a bit tricky, but we have a nice light over here, so our LUTs work very well. So it really depends on the mood that you want to achieve with that specific movie. I like Compasso 1 here. Let's see. Yeah, let's try Compasso 2. So as you can see, there's not a lot that we need to do. If the shots are correctly exposed, you can just pretty much apply the LUT and it will work. But you can there's always some room for little changes. You can see the before and the after here. Let's see this one with the Compasso 1 and with the same let's try a different one here, maybe Compasso 5. You can see it's a lot less saturated, but it's still warm, which is nice. Let's see how the black and white works here. Okay, so now I'm going to share another tip. When you choose a black and white LUT, if you're using Sony, I always recommend that you put the saturation slider all the way down, because sometimes Sony files still retain a bit of color in the blue channel, even if you put a black and white LUT. So I always recommend doing this. And you can use the temperature sliders and the tint sliders to try and recover some of the skin tones. Okay, so let's try here. You can see our dress lights up a little bit, and you can see her skin lights up a little bit. So you have with just a LUT applied and with a bit of tinkering, and there's a big difference. So let's copy and paste the next shot. this shot. Let's try Compasso 1 again. I really like Compasso 1. So the next shot is actually 2 shots. So I have to grade the 2 shots. Let's try Compasso 5. No, Compasso 6. 04. 02. 03. Yeah, I'll go with Compasso 1 with a bit more warmth and a bit more of contrast. And for this one, I don't know, let's see. Yeah, Compasso 3 works really well here, since it's in the nature. The greens really work with this LUT. There's not a lot that we can do, so I'll just leave it as it is. Let's see. Okay, Compasso 4 looks nice. I'll just adjust the exposure a bit and the temperature a bit. And let's see if I just copy paste. Okay. So for this kind of shots, I know that I want to use a faded LUT, so I'm going to Compasso 2 or Compasso 3, maybe 03, but I have to adjust the exposure. The Sony files can handle a lot of exposure adjustments, so I would just do this. Okay, so let me copy and paste for this shot. Okay, so now I'm going to show you another thing. In this situation I would use some curves, and I will do something like this, just to bring down a bit of the highlights and add a bit more to that faded look, which I think looks really nice. Let's do the same here. You can look at the windows mostly. And let's apply the same one here. And we'll do the same with the curves. This one I would just put in black and white. Let's try again with these sliders. Okay, just to brighten up your skin. Okay, so this is just the basics for using our new set of LUTs. If you have any questions, you can just send us an email or look us up on Facebook or Instagram. And I hope you enjoyed this.